Okay, today we're going to remove a fender from a 1991 F-150. First thing I did was to remove the battery. And then you're going to want to remove this battery tray. A couple 10 millimeters and an 8 millimeter bolts hold this in place. Then you want to take this solenoid thing off. Again, two 8 millimeter screws. I propped up the hood for when I release this bolt here that's on this spring. So far there's two bolts up top here, and those are 13 millimeter. Two little bolts here were 8 millimeter. Next I got to remove the headlight or the tail light and then go underneath, so stay tuned. Okay, so to get this tail light, there's a couple bolts holding it onto this fender, so I have to take this headlight assembly out. So I had to take out all these push pins. There's screws all the way along to remove this filler panel. And these were the screws. It's a two-part thing. The push pin is in first, and then the screw goes into the push pin is what I call it. And if I forgot to mention, this jack was in there. I think I already did that, but two bolts and this thumb screw hold the jack in place. So now we're gonna attempt to remove this headlight tail light assembly. I believe it's one piece, and we'll find out what happens here. Okay, to get this grill out, there's one screw over here. It's a 1/4 inch, and then there's these 4 clips, and the top ones you push up and it'll pop out, and the bottom one you push down and it'll pop out. So there's 4 clips and 1 screw that hold this grill on. And now we're going to attack the headlight, tail light, parking light assembly. Okay, tail light out. Of course, you got the parking light and the headlight. Unscrew. There's 2 10 millimeter nuts, and on the back side there's also 2 there, so 4 nuts. Also a screw here on this filler panel. I believe it was 8 millimeter. And the headlights out, and now I can access these 2 small screws that are holding the fender on. Okay, so there's a bolt. It's out now, but it's in here in between this door hinge. It's a 10 millimeter, and I should have taken it out first because it's the last one I want to get out, and I had a hell of a time getting it out. But there's a bolt there. There was a nut up here, and then the screws were a 1/4 inch that held the inner fender well to the fender. So now everything's out. Like I said, I supported that with a board. This came out fairly easy. There's a bolt, a washer goes between this part and the fender. I am ready to lift it off, so we'll see what happens. I'll take the emblems and the molding off afterwards. Okay, so after seems like 3 hours, I finally got the fender off. This is the inner fender well. It's plastic, and these were those screws. The mud flap was rigged on here. And just a note to myself, when the new fender goes back on, it goes in between this 2 clips here.